Hi, on my way home, and just thought I would make this video to talk about today's Sunday journal prompt. Today's the Sunday the 3rd of November, and it is the journal prompt where I gave the verse from Genesis 28 where Jacob had been sleeping all night. He had slept on a rock, and essentially he had wrestled with God, the angel of God, all night. And when he woke up the next morning, he said, surely God was in this place and I did not know it. And so the journal entry prompt was to ask God for revelation and recollection for a situation where God was surely with you in a specific time or season or situation, and you didn't recognize it. And so I prayed all morning, all afternoon, and I got a revelation. And it wasn't what I expected, because I was expecting something that revealed, wow, God was there all along, and it ended up in a good outcome. Well, God brought something to mind. It was several years ago, before people were as knowledgeable as they are now, before I was as knowledgeable about how much evil and bad there was in the world. So someone I know who's close to me and I were involved in a transaction with what we thought to be a reputable company. Oops, sorry, I'm driving, but I'm being safe. I just had the video sitting on my console. Fell off when I pulled off. Anyway, so we were involved in a reputable company, or what we thought was a reputable company. It was a transaction in which we had gone and viewed some property, and we're going to go ahead and sort of consummate this deal for a lot of money. Well, it was a lot of money because it was, my close family members' money. It wasn't mine, but I was involved in sort of counseling and going along, viewed this everything looked good. Company was really, as I said, a reputable company, and we followed the instructions for consummating the deal. It was all online, and at the time the consummation process of this contractual deal kept having a hitch. It kept having a glitch in sort of finalizing it, and it wouldn't go through, and it wouldn't go through, and it wouldn't go through. There was always something holding it up in the transaction, and eventually the money went through, and we were waiting for this thing that we're supposed to get from this sort of down payment that we put on it, and the people disappeared with the money, lots of money. And when we contacted the company, again a reputable company, they said no, that was enough. Somebody infiltrated they must have infiltrated our whatever, and they were using this company to front their fraudulent scheme. And so God was in that place because God kept making the transaction not go through at least 3 times as a warning to say, don't do it. This is not legit. And we did not recognize that God was in this place saying, don't do it. And so, I wasn't savvy enough at the time about the level of scamming and scheming and how people were using now in 2024, I think it would be a really easy situation to recognize. But at the time, a few years ago, several years ago, it wasn't commonplace for people to be so. It was just unbelievable that this level of thievery and scamming could happen. It was inconceivable. And so God was in that place, and in that transaction, in that situation, He was trying to get us to see that was not His will, that was not Him, that was a fraudulent situation, and we didn't recognize it. And so, we're out that money, never got it back. And it really did change the course of a lot of things. But even then, Romans 8:28 rings true. He works all things together for good. So I believe that the pivot that we were required to make because of that situation, that loss of money and that loss of that opportunity, and we had to go in a whole different direction. The different direction is really, I think, where God wanted us to go. And we wouldn't have gone in that different direction at the time. And we ended up where God wanted us to be. It cost some money, and it brought a real life lesson. That was the beginning of understanding how scamming and cyber thievery was really making a play in the world. And so we became very aware and not easily scammed anymore. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that as my journal prompt entry for this journal prompt on this Sunday, November the 3rd.